Mhm.
Wait. Let me explain something to you. I am not Mr. Lebowski. You're Mr. Lebowski. I'm the dude.
Why don't you make like a tree and get out of here?
Now I'm here to answer any questions you children may have about the monorail.
Me! Can it outrun the Flash?
You bet.
Can Superman outrun the Flash?
Sure, why not?
Using his vast knowledge of history and politics, we start our day off right with motivational speaker Richard Battle.
This one scares me. I've got a Mr. Battle on the program. Richard, how you doing, sir?
Good morning, Al. Thank you so much for having us bat lead off again.
Oh, no, always our pleasure. Saw the headline. We're going to talk about the new vocabulary and that sort of thing, and it just got me scared. Guys like you, and I'll be completely honest, guys like you scare me because you write books and you find the perfect word to go in a perfect sentence. And I don't know if you would even understand this. People listening will. I'm the guy, whenever I write anything and I get to the point where maybe I don't know if I can spell that word correctly, I'll write like an entire whole new sentence to go around that word and put a word in that I do know how to spell. I'm that guy. And you're not. And now we're going to do a whole thing on vocabulary. This is not up my wheelhouse, my friend. No.
Well, don't be afraid. We'll be gentle. And
I appreciate that.
I thought it was time because over the last few years, we've seen so many words and definitions manipulated politically to mean different things than they historically have. And sometimes they're used to denigrate other people for not knowing what the word means. They invent words and use them. And so I thought it'd be good to kind of review and have some fun with a few of them.
I love the idea, actually. Let me ask you this, though. Words have always changed, right? I mean, Webster's dictionary is much smaller back in the day. So, I mean, we have invented words. Words do change meanings as you go. But I get the feeling what you're talking about is a purposeful changing of words, right?
Absolutely. I think it's much more purposeful now. And also, there's a condescension in use of some of the words, I think, that I don't remember from before.
Well, let's bust some down. What's the first word you want to talk about?
Identify. Let's talk about identify.
Oh, I identify.
Identify
Okay.
as a U.S. American citizen, as that beauty contestant said one time.
Oh, that's funny.
And, we used to just say when we were kids, I'm going to pretend to be a cop. You pretend to be the robber. We'll play, or I'll pretend to be the soldier. You pretend to be the Indian.
Yeah.
Cops and robbers, whatever. It was a pretend type situation. Now it's an identify, and identify gives it a legitimacy to some people that pretend doesn't give to it, yet it's the exact same thing.
That is so funny because you use that word comes up all the time now, and I'm 60, and until 5 years ago, it just wasn't a word that, I mean, it was in the lexicon, I suppose, like you say, we were pretending to be cowboys or Indians. I don't know if using that word was even a thing up until 5 years ago. Completely.
Well, exactly right. And that's the whole point of this exercise is to go through some of these and point it out, because there's some legitimacy in a few, but then there's others that it's just totally something to mask what's really going on and get it by people who aren't really let's see, how can I say this, who aren't really thinking about it. It's just kind of goes through their minds and out, and they don't think about it. And
I love your second word, cohorts. I actually use that word, but I use it with my kids. You and your cohorts. My kid looks at me, what are you talking about? That gang you hang with, your cohorts. You're no better than your cohorts. I use that word. I'm old school.
Well, that's the only use of that type of word. Historically, I remember, but now it's a class, a group, a team. Instead of saying your school class, they'll talk about the cohort. And this word, especially, I think, is used with some air of arrogance, if you will, versus just saying this is your class, your group, your team, etc. And so, to me, I think this one's interesting. It's only really come into play the last few years.
I love the next one. Reimagine. This is the thing. Just reimagine the U.S. government, reimagine whatever we're doing. And in reality, you're like, let's just reimagine socialism. We haven't tried socialism the right way yet. It's like, every time it's tried. You can imagine anything. Reimagine is just this idea that just think of it different, right? Throw away anything that actually works.
Well, that's exactly right. And it replaces something. Sometimes it works and sometimes doesn't, but it basically gives a person a license to do whatever the heck they want, whatever theory they want. Book club I'm in with a book we're reading here lately. This professor from England, he's advocating that human beings are going to become immortal and gods. They're going to have divinity. And so that's his reimagination of the human race. And I say good luck with it, but I doubt he's going to succeed.
When you're at his funeral, let him know that it didn't happen. Oh, that's funny. Organizers, wow, this one was new. This is an Obama era thing, right? I mean, that's when we really figured out what an organizer was.
We talked about this extensively the last week or so, but what drives me crazy about it is, to me, an organizer is an unaccountable person usually. So they'll go up to an event and they'll talk to different people, and they're all organizers, which means they're all equal. And if no one's in charge, there's no leadership. And to me, succeed or fail, it's always the leadership. And so when you abdicate anybody being the leader, then you're not going to succeed.
See, but that and that's your next one, the collective as well. That's kind of on that same line, that if we're just a big group, we're just the collective, we can't any one of us be blamed for the problem as a collective, right? There's no one standing up saying it's me.
Right. And so you and I are white males, for example. Collectives could be female, could be somebody from another country. And so there are people that try to put us all into groups and have us associate with the groups and advocate for our group to get different things. And our country was founded on individual liberty. Each of us are individuals, regardless of any of these micro groups that we could be in. And we have the rights and opportunities to pursue our dreams and the pursuit of happiness as individuals.
Yeah. On your list, this one really hit me because it's going to hurt a lot of people's feelings, I presume. When we talk the rainbow, there was our age group. That was a promise from God, a covenant that God made. And that's pretty much been taken over now.
Well, yes. And it was in the Bible after the flood, that was God's covenant saying that he would not cause the earth to be covered with water again. Mm-hmm. And yet it's been appropriated now from the gay community. And, they can have what they want, but when they take another group's symbol, if you will, and redefine it, that to me is a purposeful watering down or attempt to water down the true or previous definition.
How easy was it to do that, though? That is just interesting to me because it's written in the Bible for 2,000 years. We've been reading about God's covenant with the rainbow. And within just this generation, that's no longer the meaning. I mean, they literally confiscated it, changed it in one generation.
Well, exactly. And that's the whole point, because there weren't enough pushback. And if people did push back, then you had them saying that was hate. So that's one of the things, if you push back on any of these, people will say, well, you're a hater because you're not letting me have my way. And so, again, that's very common on this progressive side is they want their way now, no opposition, no discussion. And if you do, you're a hater. I saw one of these men on the street interviews at a protest march, and a guy just came up and he was trying to ask people why they were marching, what they believed in, things of this nature. And the organizers of the group would not let the people talk to the person with the camera because they were afraid what they'd say. The only thing the people were there for were to respond to the chants of the protest. And so they totally dehumanized these people so that they could participate.
Love that. We got to go to break. We've got many more words to go. We'll get to those right after this. It's Richard Battle. He's the guy, by the way, who wrote Americans Who Made America, the 19th Century Growth, Division, and Reunification. We'll talk more about that. Oh, thank you. In a moment.
Think about it. A famous politician once said, "You're entitled to your opinion, but you are not entitled to your own facts. But in a world full of AI and fake news, where can Minnesotans find the facts? Center of the American Experiment is Minnesota's go-to source for fact-based analysis and common sense solutions for taxes, energy, public safety, and our kids' education. Visit AmericanExperiment.org for more information. Think About It is brought to you by Center of the American Experiment, Minnesota's think tank.
Achieving your financial goals requires individual planning and a comprehensive approach. At Midwest Money Management, our mission is to provide you with the knowledge, tools, and confidence to feel comfortable financially today and secure about tomorrow. Learn more at MidwestMoneyManagement.com. That's MidwestMoneyManagement.com.
Securities offered through JW Cole Financial Inc., member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services offered through JW Cole Advisors Inc., Midwest Money Management, and JW Cole Financial Inc. and JW Cole Advisors Inc. are unaffiliated entities.
Amongst friends, the Al Travis Show. Nothing but talk.
If you're just tuning in with us, we've got Richard Battle in, of course, always on our Wednesdays. And today we're talking about, well, he says new terms. It's old words with new meanings or meanings that are trying to change. The one that kind of hit me when I first read it, rights. What do you mean by rights? That has changed?
Well, as recognized in our Declaration of Independence, we have God-given rights.
No.
As our founders enumerated, and God-given rights are permanent and eternal. But what we've seen, especially the last 10 or 20 years, are governments especially trying to give man-given rights. And any rights a man gives or a woman can be given and taken away by another person.
Gotcha.
And that's the thing that we can see it in the last two presidential administrations. The previous one gave certain groups rights. The current one's taking away and redistributing those rights, if you will. And so the only rights we can really count on throughout our lives are the ones that are permanent or eternal and God-given. And so that's something that we've seen change. And I think it's important for us to recognize it when it happens.
Gotcha. That makes sense. How about democracy?
Well, we talked about this a few weeks ago, too. And again, we're not a democracy. We're a republic. But all you can hear politicians talk about today on both sides of the aisle is democracy. They're taking our democracy away. Well, democracy is mob rule or majority rules with no consideration to the rights of the minority. A republic protects minority rights. And as Aristotle said, republics decline into democracies. Democracies degenerate into despotism. So we need to remind those politicians we are a republic.
No, I love that one. And transition?
Well, we've seen that where we have individuals transition from one gender identity to
Yeah.
another. And again, that's a self definition versus what they were created as. And so people want that ability to define themselves however they want to. Well, I can identify myself or transition to whatever I think I'm going to, but I'm always going to be what I was born as.
Yeah. I love that one. How about truth? And that's a word with a new meaning.
Well, truth is, and the sun's going to come up in the east tomorrow. That's truth.
Yeah.
But what's happened is we've had people come up with this idea that they can define truth themselves. And so we hear people talking about what's your truth. And if you can define your own truth, then you can do anything you want to. You're never wrong. Everybody does their own truth. It sounds good, but it doesn't really work because there are objective truths.
See, that's Oprah Winfrey, by the way. The first time I ever heard that was Oprah Winfrey. Here's my truth. Whatever she's up, here's my truth. I'm like, what are you talking about? Your truth? You get your own truth? And then everybody had their own truth on that day show, what their truth was. I'm like, that's not going to fly in the long run. There's got to be something we can agree on. All right, your last one, neutralize, manage.
Well, and I've got a couple of write-in on the ballot too. But,
okay.
So we hear historically, the military will talk about how they neutralized Osama bin Laden, for example.
Yeah.
And that was a code word that they killed him, but they didn't want people to go, "Oh, they killed him."
So they neutralized
the
him.
word neutralized. Well, I was out at Yellowstone National Park a couple of months ago, and I was on this tour with this bear expert, and she was talking about how sometimes the animals would become unmanageable, if you will. And she said that when that happened, they would manage the bison, for example.
Okay.
Oh, well, what do you mean they would manage the bison? Well, the way they use the word manage, they would kill the bison.
Yeah.
They didn't want any little kids
squealing
when they said that, so they'd say they'd manage them. And I just thought it was pretty hilarious.
Oh, that
how
is
they
funny.
mask the word kill.
Like, yeah. Okay, so kids they'll never understand you killed bison. They grow up and they go, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, that's an interesting use of words. What else did you have? Do you have another one? I got 2 minutes. I got to talk about your book.
Well, last one we'll do is people and citizens. It's very important for us to retain our citizenship and the difference and the rights we have and responsibilities as citizens. But there are groups now trying to substitute people. For example, government benefits go to people versus citizens. Well, that's a code word for illegal aliens.
Wow. Yeah, there's a lot of that going. You got to watch it. You got to maintain it. I'm glad you wrote it all down. He's my writer, AmeriCANS Who Made America, 19th Century, Growth, Division, and Reunification. It goes really well with the one before it, the 18th Century, Birth of the Republic. It's a 2-book set. Can you buy them in the set, by the way? I've got mine. Can you buy the entire set so far?
Well, there's a 3-book promo at richardbattle.com.
Oh.
All books and all 12 books are available, signed. If you'd like something inscribed for gifts, we're happy to do that. If you'll email me, richard@richardbattle.com after you order. All books are at Amazon, including almost all of them on Kindle and 7 of them on audio. And the latest book will be out on audio and Kindle in the next month or so.
Yeah, and what a better time to pick these two, at least these, well, the 3. I presume the 3-book set's also Made in America by AmeriCANS, not AmeriCANS?
Yes.
All right. What a 3-book set you should get for your family's library in the 250 years of the Republic, right? I mean, we're celebrating 250 years. What a great time to get these books.
Well, they're all written so young people can read it as well. They're all great resources for speakers and leaders to use for class projects. Used for speeches, used for teaching and leadership roles. So there's a lot of different uses with this material.
Buy them for your local library as well. Got to go, Mr. Battle. Love having you on. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. God bless America.